where we went with trying to figure out, you know, branding and getting noticed and all that sort of paper. And we've got a pretty ordinary product. I mean, we're selling honey. I mean, honestly, everybody's selling honey, eh? I mean, you can buy that down the supermarket, but you can't get my honey at the supermarket just yet. Well, as a matter of fact, I don't think we've got enough of my honey at the supermarket anyway. So, the thing was, I had a product that I wanted to sell, and what did you say? You wanted to get noticed. So I thought, well, I'm on the internet and I'm checking out how to be a beekeeper, and I'm thinking, there is some serious hits on beekeeping, and there is some seriously dull, boring stuff on there that people watch. And I even watched some of it, and anyway, I said to the lad, I said, hey, what about if you film me doing some of this bee stuff? Interesting. Can you imagine parents, anybody here with, you know, older kids? You kids, you know, you're still acceptable of your parents. Later on, you'll figure it out. The first thing that they say to you as an adult, to an adult child, is, go home. Are you kidding? What are you on about? Which is pretty much the response I got, even though he would tell you different. Anyway, but then he googled up beekeeping and he saw how many hits you get, and he went, yeah, actually, this could work. So I said, well, let's just make one episode. Let's just make an episode. Come on. I mean, I'm, you know, obviously not, well, undiscovered talent. There you go, I could say that, but that's a bit blowing my own horn. But anyway, he comes up and we filmed the first episode, and it got titled Pinterest Palette Making Crap, I think it was. I think that was the first title. And he went home and he started editing the video, and his beautiful wife couldn't stop laughing. So he decided, oh, this might be good. So we made, I think we made 3 months worth of stuff before we launched, because there's like a whole lot of gear that has to go in behind the scenes to actually make the internet happen. I mean, it's pretty fascinating stuff. He's got this is a little cool little thing we're going to show you, which is the Discovery dudes in New York. They picked us up and made a little caption, and we thought, oh, well, we'll just play this. So if you check this out, this is, well, this is me in my glory, I think. You want to hit? I wanted to be an almond grower myself, so I moved to the Riverland and I raised a beautiful young family, and then I had a bit of a mess up and lost one of my lads, and that sort of threw me into a bit of a tailspin, as you can imagine, and I was a bit lost. Anybody knows anything about growing almonds. You haven't got me, you haven't got nuts. Here in Australia and think, well, you know, why not preempt and try to get in front of the game? But the thing that makes me feel is relaxed, actually, which is kind of ridiculous, because if you're not relaxed when you're working with bees, you get your stuff. So you've got to chill down. got their own personality or idiosyncrasies, get to know which hive is going to be in a good mood and which isn't. If they're cool to work with, I'm pulling it up with them. Right there. I mean, there we are in New York. I mean, we've been on American TV. I don't know what that show was. That was some other show. Something anyway. What was that show we were on TV on? Anyway, I'll tell you in a minute. He's pretty into all this stuff. So it's pretty incredible, isn't it? Like the branding, getting yourself. I mean, the amount of honey we sell to America is crazy. I mean, we're selling a pot of honey for $15 and they pay $38 to get to them. I mean, it's insane. But there you go. So, you know, like, I mean, that's the power of blooming having yourself out there on the internet. And this, how small is this planet? Like, the fact that people, I mean, I think England is $38 to get a pot of honey. We sell a fair bit there. We sell a fair bit in Scotland, that's pretty cool. I mean, how can you imagine that little Scottish guy? One of the things that I do love, though, is they get these emails. There's these emails, I don't know, you probably haven't watched the show, but I'm a little bit liberal with my language sometimes. The little bit, that was very polite, but anyway, I'm a little bit more liberal than that. Anyway, this lovely lass, she actually sent me this email and she says, it's just so cool because when I was a little girl, my granddad had beehives and I used to go and visit him on the farm and he'd be pottering around down his shed and as the little granddaughter, I'd be down there playing with him and he'd be happily building something out of nothing and swearing away to himself. And I'd go back up to Mum and Mum would go, you know, that's just pop. And she said, and it was cool because she was writing me this letter touching her about her past and about how she'd lived and what she'd done. And then I had another cool email from a dude who was reminiscing about the fact that his dad, I think it was, had passed away, who was a beekeeper. And he went, from watching this show, he went out into his shed and dug through the boxes and found his dad's smoker and his old bee hat. And he just was, and then he put it on and he took a photo of it and sent it to his brothers and said, you know, look, this actually was really cool. So, I don't know, I reckon it's awesome. And I think the internet is pretty fascinating. And yeah, John's going to share with you about the internet because he is the internet man. I'm just the face and he's the brains.
You touched upon something really key, is TV. I still work in television, but from the inside, it's an aging platform that's not going to be, it's not the be all and end all it used to be of advertising. I think that's the main thing about social media, but I think sometimes people, especially people, the amount of time you have to put into social media, before we started, we launched, we had about I had stocked up about 2 months worth of episodes. So I think that's something with social media is, it's a lot of work, but if you plan ahead and you have your posts ready, the best thing about Facebook pages is you can schedule stuff for whenever you want it. So if you want to develop a strategy for social media, if you start off by thinking, okay, 2 months ahead of content, even if you don't do anything for the first couple of weeks, if you can build up that content and have it ready to go, it's a less of a, I guess, less work you have to do in the immediate time when you go to post. So I think that's something that's really crucial. And also, video in any form whatsoever, as long as it's held still and shot, like just on your phone's fine. Video is key to social media at the moment. So that's, people rather watch a 30-second video where you explain the product that you're selling or show the product. I know the hardware store in Loxton does it really well. They do really well with that. So, and as a business owner, the easiest, you feel as the owner that it's your responsibility to be on camera. If you can find an employee that's charismatic as well, like they've done, utilize that. I mean, you don't have to put the video up live, so you can, if they say something you don't want as a business owner, you can always get them to read to it in that sense. So video is a key for it, and perseverance, because when we started the first 2 or 3 months, we get a couple hundred views on the videos, but the internet with algorithms, it's how Facebook and YouTube works. They use the computer programming determines what gets viewed a lot. So if you keep at it, and if you say you put up 2 posts a week on the same day, it'll notice that you're doing that consistently, and if you're getting 5 likes for that post, it'll keep going. And that's a way of also avoiding spending too much on boosting as well. That's a pitfall that you can fall into. Boosting too many posts can lead to losing organic reach. Does everybody know that there's organic reach, so what Facebook does to the algorithm versus what you pay for? So it's a tricky balance to try and strike. Facebook wants you to spend X amount of dollars on getting paid reach, but if you can get some organic reach through doing interesting videos and getting people to tag, great way to do it is to do a post about, like one thing we do for our Instagram we just started is if you give away something that's minute to you guys as a business owner, say it's something that costs $5, but to the people on social media, just having the opportunity to win something makes everybody go nuts for it. So yeah, by tagging and then drawing people in, so that kind of organic reach is really important on social media. My number one thing is, if you don't get results in the first week or two, it takes months. So have a plan, stick with it, and continue to keep going over and over and over until you feel like hitting your head on a brick wall, but you'll get there. So that's the main thing. And also, I'll just finish up. If you have, I think with social media, something that people especially misinterpret is that you have to have millions of people following you, or 500,000 people following you. As a community like Loxton, we have 4,500 people in the town. So if you have 500 people that like your page, you've got a huge percentage of that, already got a huge percentage of that market. So I think when we look at people like the Kardashians or other people that have millions of people, that's not, being a Loxton, you want to be able to say that you, like if you can get a majority of the target audience of Loxton, which is 4,500 people, which is attainable, that's what you're aiming for. So be proud of it if you're between 500 to 1,000 people on Facebook, you're doing really well. So keep at it, and that's, perseverance and consistency is the key for social media.
I told you he was the brains when it comes to all that stuff, because I figured I'd just entertain it. That's what I went with. I can make people laugh, and I can have a bit of a go at that. And this bloke knows how the rest of it works, and so we make an awesome team. And people ask us, where are we going with this? And we're not really sure. Well, I think he's sure. I'm not really sure, but I reckon we're going as far as we can. And you know what? When we get really famous and we're on the telly in America for real, we're going to tell them where we come from. So don't you worry about that. Anyway, thanks for having us. And I don't know. I think that's the go, isn't it? Anybody you want some questions?
Just on your boosting your posts. Yeah. So, are you when you do paid boosts, do you notice you're getting lots of likes from Bangladesh and Indonesia?
Yeah. So okay. So the beauty thing about Facebook, and especially, is when you go to do boosts, don't just hit boost because that's what they want. They want you to, because that if you just hit the button, you're just getting everywhere in the world. And that's what they want, because that way people in Bangladesh or bots, essentially. So important, if you're going to spend money on boosting, is to really nail down your location. So hit either the Riverland or include the Riverland, I think. That'll narrow it down, and you'll get less. You might find that you'll get less likes, but you're getting quality likes. I guess that's always the balance you got to look at with social media. Is like I said, with the amount of the population within Loxton, if you're getting 50 likes, like 25 likes on a post, and they all come from Loxton, that's good. There's no point having 150 likes from other parts of the world. So yeah, really refining the interests and the location in your posts. So yeah, so make sure it takes a little bit extra time, but I think you can save the settings so next time you boost, it'll use the same one. So yeah.
I never got hit up for money, so I don't think that.
Yeah, I find that Facebook is, if you're selling a product, boost works well. If you're offering a service or a content thing, organic is best for that. So if you can, Facebook unfortunately is a big company and they want you to throw money at them to get the post. But yeah, smart, engaging content is always the #1 key. So yeah. You had a question?
Can you tell us a little bit more about your GoFundMe campaign to get to New York?
Yeah, I think we did that a bit too early. So we did that a year earlier than we probably should have, but it was a good learning experience. But the one thing that we do have, and we have getting a lot of backing through, is Patreon. So that's where people give anything from $1 to whatever they feel like once a month. And then that's a way of supporting creators. It's essentially, you're buying a $1 ticket to a movie every month to support those kind of content. So yeah, the crowdfunding thing is something we'll definitely do again. It was just probably a bit too early in the...
I was going to say, we'd be happy to have you guys as subscribers or Patreon supporters if you want to throw a bit of money in the pot.
Yeah, because that's...
I don't know, is that a pot? There's something.
But yeah, and that's what I've been born and bred here. That's something I think part of the spirit of the show is not just that, but the country spirit that we have is that...
It's true, right?
Yeah, but that...
I'm a country boy.
That engagement, like most, you don't, especially if you did in Adelaide, you couldn't go to the post office and expect people in the post office to be happy to go along with your crazy little project. But yeah, like the Right This Minute features on their TV show in America, and that had the Riverland listed on it. So I mean, that kind of, hopefully we can bring some exposure to the area as well, and that's, yeah, I'm really proud of being able to achieve that in that sense. So.
The thing is, in the world, no one really. The thing is, in the world, well, actually, even out of South Australia, no one's really sure where we are. Because when I used to market my products, almonds over in Sydney, and they'd say, where are you from? And I'd say, Loxton. And they'd say, where the hell's Loxton? And I go, well, do you know where Mildura is? And sort of most people kind of knew where Mildura is, and I said, well, just drive down from there, you know. But then, it's so, I think if we can put Loxton on the map, and we were just talking earlier about the pedalbreed and the gift and things like that. I mean, this is a bit of a different genre, but it's the same kind of idea. I mean, the good thing about Loxton is it's not dying. At least it's not like you said earlier. It's not actually. No, we're not going to go there, are we? Because they're sort of in our council area. But anyway, but it is, and let's do what we can to make it bigger and better, and you know, because we all love living here.
So you're saying Facebook? Is Facebook it, or do you have Instagram?
So your service, Instagram would be good. Yeah.
Been using Facebook for a while.
Yeah, Facebook's good. Facebook's good for everybody. Instagram, if you're selling products, great. To a certain extent, so with Instagram, you don't want to be selling, like say, showing the product you're selling, show it being used, or not being used, but in a way where it's engaging. Instagram's good in the sense of, Instagram is Facebook without the, sorry for the swear word, with the BS, I guess. You're just getting photos, so that way it's less engaging in like clicks, but it's more engaging in people becoming aware of what you're doing and your branding, I guess, in a way. Yeah.
So we try not to advertise ourselves, we try to give content with regards to information.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I find that with
We're not about trying to sell a hunt.
No. At the end of the day, the series, like it has, the underlying is, yeah, it'd be great if we could sell some product, but at the end of the day, the whole game is to show his journey, in a way giving information, and in turn, hopefully, it works in the way where it has, that it pushes people to want to support by buying product. And so, yeah, definitely in your line of business, having those kind of posts, it sounds like you're doing the right thing. Yeah, giving information for free, because a lot of like if you've ever been to a business conference, the usual spiel is they'll give you this amount of information, but if you sign up this amount, you'll get the rest of it if you sign up today or whatever. But in that way, it still works on a smaller scale if you're giving a little bit of information, but then also you'll caught their attention. That's the hardest thing you can do. The hardest thing ever is to get somebody's attention, and then it's important how you utilize it, I guess, in a way. So yeah, so it sounds like you're on the right one.
So do you hire out your bees with the amount of almond trees that have been...
Well, that is the plan at the moment. I've just got enough basically for my own needs, but yeah, next couple of seasons that we'll be getting to the hiring out part of things. Yeah. So
how quickly do you grow bees?
Well, it depends how much money you got. It's relative to anything else in agriculture. The more coin, the quicker you can grow. But basically the bottom line. I mean, because you can buy them, import them, breed them, but putting the blooming things in a box, that's what knocks you in the head. 'Cause I mean, a box will cost you, anywhere from $200 to $400 roughly, unless you're getting a flow hive, and they're about $900. So you know they're good for the garden. If anybody's got a flow hive, good for you. But yeah, to do that commercially, it's pretty flat out. So yeah, it's like everything else. I mean, it's just money. Like how much money can you put into it to how much you can get back. It's like how many shirts do you buy? How many, I don't know, all of that. Like how many acres do you plant?
Where do you buy bees? Yeah.
Where do you buy bees? Yeah, good question. I've got a good dude up in Queensland, the Bunyip Bee Man. He sells bees in little packages, so you would have seen in that shop there, little boxes of bees. Or you can buy other people's problems, which I've done that, and bought some older bees off of some guys, and by the time they're normally selling them, they've got a bit, I don't know, sick of beekeeping, so their bees are usually fairly psycho. So then you've got to re-queen them and try and calm them down because they're angry and snotty. The wife's attesting to that because we brought them home and she got stung to bits and she got out of the car and she had 3 bee stings in about 3 minutes. So they liked her better than me, which was good. The lifespan of an actual bee, in summertime it's about 2 months roughly, give or take. In wintertime it's about 3 months, 3 or 4 months, so yeah. But when it's really busy in spring, they might only live about 4 to 6 weeks. So, yeah, the actual bee. But the queen bee itself, she'll live for 3 or 4 years. So, yeah, so they're basically, yeah. You could be a queen, exactly right. That's one other thing to know too. All of the bees are girls, except for a few drones that are kicking around the hive for, well, best the only thing that blokes are probably good for, and you know. Most of the time, well, bee blokes, they're not much good for nothing. They don't even know how to go out and they just get fed, sit around the hive, get fed, and you know, fly off and find a young queen every now and then. But anyway, I digress.
Should people have bees at home? Is that?
Yeah.
What did you call it?
A flow hive? Well, I shouldn't advertise them. They're making plenty of money on their own.
Can you sell something that we can put in the backyard?
Yeah, but they're basically a manageable hive. I mean, the go with that is, sorry?
You sell these.
Well, we can. I've got them. We can sell them easy enough. Yeah, but the thing with that is, if you get a normal, like the hives we use, you've still got to actually physically take the honey. But I mean, I'm working on an idea, which is a couple of other beekeepers do, is you actually do that and you go and help them. Like you have the hive, and then I come and take the honey and do the thing and look after the bee. And no, you get your share of the honey. Yeah, but you don't have to do it. Don't have to actually get there and get stung. But yeah, anyway, the logistics of that in the Riverland, I haven't got that far. But hell, I'll tell you what, you might be a good. You're a pretty pop, you do. We can start with you. It's got to be the test dummy. Oh, I tell you what, we can come up with a good deal. Yeah.
Noticed in your video presentation that even though you were speaking English, there were subtitles.
Yes.
Does the overseas market have trouble with the Australian way of pronouncing?
Absolutely, they do. You got to give that answer. Yeah, he reads a lot of the emails, but I can. He's laughing already because he's got yes. It's rather funny. This is an American even.
So apparently here in Australia we speak a lot faster than they do in America. So a lot of the comments I've gotten over the last 6 months, some of them have been, this guy's really funny, but I only have to understand about half of what he says. So, but a good example of that video that Insider Science made is, if you can, if it's a Facebook video, and that's what you're targeting at, if you can get subtitles put on your videos, that means that the reason why they did it in that video is not necessarily that can't be understood, it's because people will be looking on their phones and they're in a meeting that they'd rather not be in, or on a bus, or tolerating other people they're around. They'll be looking at the Facebook feed, but they can't listen to the sound, so if it's subtitled, it keeps them away of knowing what's going on. So that's another good approach for video as well. If you can find a way to get subtitled, you have somebody that can subtitle for you, that also helps as well.
What do you do for a living?
What I do for a living? I'm a cameraman and editor by trade. I started here at the Riverland in Wynn, and then I work probably 70% of the time in Channel 10.
Sounds like you should do social media.
Yes.
I do, yeah, I was sort of approached into it.
Yeah, no, because we use it. I use a young lady in town here for most business people probably find we don't have time or the inclination to want to sit down and do it, where you get something like yourself that's all over it.
Yeah.
And you can use those buffering sites and set it around.
Yeah.
Be on fire.
I'll keep that in mind. if anything, I can supply the video content. So, yeah. Yeah. So if anybody wants any video content, give me a call. Always happy to help. And yeah, I'm up here every month now, so it's not a matter of me having to worry about travel. So yeah, so won't be filled in. So yeah.
He's very talented, by the way. He's it off his mum.
Yeah. Thanks, bro. Yeah.
I'm not going to deny that. Cool. Anybody else got any questions?
It might be totally irrelevant question, but how much honey do you get out of what you...
Out of a hive?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, out of a hive, I don't know, out of a frame you get probably 10 kilos off of a frame, so you get, I don't know, 50 kilos. And it depends. It depends on the honey flow, really. So it depends on, in the spring you can get sort of 50 kilos out of a hive. Like when through the spring, like that's 2 or 3 goes at it. But then other times you get nothing, like because the girls are a bit, you know, slack or lazy, or they didn't find the right thing, or there hasn't rained, which has been a bit of excitement. So yeah, it's variable. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. You know, at the moment I am probably not chasing the honey as much as I am trying to multiply the hives. So that's, whereas the boys that are chasing the honey are, you know, obviously they've got the hives established and they've got them up to speed in the spring. Because when I get to spring, they're breeding, so then I'll split them, and then that depletes the amount of honey you can get. Because, you know, they've obviously got to breed up again, so.
So when you split them, you get an extra hive, take 2 and split them all.
Yeah, so yeah, you can do that a couple of times if they're really good. So the better, so that's to their own detriment, the better they are, the more you can split off, so then of course, then the honey changes. So I'd make a decision to say, okay, I'm going to keep that 20 that I'm going to harvest, and the other, you know, 50 or 70 or whatever I'm doing, I'll split them off and multiply them up. So which,
Queens then?
you just buy them in the post. Or, depends on what you want. Yeah, there's heaps of queen breeders. There's, I don't know, 10 or 12 of them or so at least that are good. And I had a bloke, some dude that I had never heard of, bring me up the other day, wanted me to use his queens to promote him on our show and all this, and I'm like, oh my goodness. But anyway, we're going to get there. I don't know whether I want to do that, but the queens that I'm using are from the Bunyip Dude and the guy in Kangaroo Island, and who was he? Anyway, there's another fellow, I can't think of him off the top of my head. And yeah, so you just get the gene pool. But yeah, they just come in the post. You just get the queen, but if you've got a good hive and they're not cranky, you just split them off and make your own queen.
About in the post, where there's a video from...
you got them in frames, in a big box. Oh, sorry. In a big box, you've got, like, in the box, you've got all these frames. I don't know if you've seen, or I think you might have seen that was a fridge there, but anyway. Then you get little frames across the brood box, and then when you open it up, say the super's on the top, which is where all the honey is, so you take that away, and then in the brood box, you've got all the frames of bees, and on that, the brood is like where all the eggs and the babies are, and you just pick. So there's usually 6 good frames. Sometimes the whole box is full if there's a really good queen, which is the ones you want to keep. And then you just take some frames out of that and put them in a little newt box with some of the bees, because the bees, this is the catch though, the silly bloody things will go back to where they thought they were meant to be from, unless you take the little nurse bees, which is what you want on the frame. Take the nurse bees in the newt box, and then when they become foraging bees, they'll go back to their actual hive where they are now. You put foraging bees in the new box, and then they'll go back where they used to be, and then you'll have nothing. So then all the brood will be dead. But anyway, so yeah, it's actually pretty simple, but it sounds better. Well, it's simple now. It's very complicated when you first do it.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of beekeeping, and I'm sure there's a topic that was first aid and plenty of other topics. If you find the interesting catch about any of the stuff you sell, or whatever the product it is, if you have a range of products that you find that's interesting, it's about finding interesting things to talk about. Like unfortunately for us, beekeeping is this endless deep dive into everything you can possibly think of. And that's also something that we're transitioning into is almonds, covering that. We did it with Armico, we went over there to the cracking shed. So I guess that's something we're looking at content and being able to expand it that way. And any way we can promote Riverland and local businesses and stuff like that is something we're interested in doing, and finding ways to get the word out there, because I mean it's a great area, and with the big events like the Petalbury gift and that kind of stuff, it gives people more of a reason to come and visit. So yeah.
Shall we wrap it up? I reckon we. Oh, you got to wrap up? No, I think we're good. Anybody else? Last call. It's a bit like the auction. Going once, going twice. Anyway, thank you very much for having us. Sonia, you want to have a gap? Yep, cool. Here's the lovely lady herself.
Thank you very much, Mark and John. We really appreciate you coming tonight. And it was really interesting when you say you had to try and think of something exciting to talk about with bees. I think everyone just likes to hear about bees, and they're just quirky little creatures. But apparently Scott's going to be the next beekeeper around town. Watch this space, you can be our guest speaker next year. But I think we might even have a job for you, John, quite seriously, when you were talking about the video content, because the Chamber of Commerce for our next membership year are really looking at expanding our social media reach, and also including the video content, which you said is quite key at the moment. So we were going to, send out an ad for someone who could handle that. So maybe you might like to look at that ad. We can see you again. Okay. So just to talk a little bit more about that, I'd like to introduce Annette Winter to the stage. Thank you, Mark and John. So Annette Winter is from That's Graphic, and more famously, she's a part of the Executive Committee of the Chamber of Commerce and the social media project